Hello you salty gamers, and we're back for episode 2, day 2 of our Icarus solo playthrough. We left off last episode having managed to make ourselves a bedroll, campfire, put some food on the campfire, into a nice cosy cave to pass the next day. So let's see what the next day brings. Here we are, just exactly where we left off. And we've cooked some fish. No, we've cooked some raw meat, which is just sitting off because we've got no slots in the campfire to use. So we'll pick up this, put it down here. I'll get rid of this charcoal now because we don't really need it at the moment. Also move this out so it doesn't drop all on the floor, and then we forget about it. Destroy this one solo fish because it's not going to do very much. Whilst that's cooking away, we'll leave our wee bedroll here and we'll see what today brings. We'll go for some hunting. We'll see if we can get up to level 5 before the next day. So we're almost at level 4, which will then aim off to get our cloth armour, cloth feet. Because that cave was so dark, I think we'll go for the wood rag torch, which will be a handy thing to have. Now, just like before, if there's no wildlife, if in doubt, hit a tree, knock it down, get some easy XP. Step back, if it falls on your head you get concussion. If you hit it towards a base, you can crush your base, especially if it's made out of thatch. Even not so much wood, but still break it on wood, just not as easy as thatch. And stone, it does a small amount of damage, but not as much. So we've dropped out that tree. Just pick up the wood. Bear in mind that we've got a weight capacity as well of how much we can carry, so we don't want to carry too much and become over encumbered because we have nowhere to store it. Another thing that we need a lot of is stone to make the arrows and to repair our stone knives, stone pick, stone hatchet. That's us bind up to level 4. We'll start off with the talent tree. We've got level 2. We could go for more movement speed, but our stamina drops is used for drawing our bow, harvesting. So the more stamina, the longer we could go without having to stop. So I'll just put a point into marathon runner for extra stamina. We'll also get the 2 for base health. We'll get the very quiet, so we'll need either stam regen or health regen just to unlock that part of the tree. Low maintenance, so our oxygen, food and water will go down a lot slower. Takes 2 points to get the 20% reduction. And then the big 3, so we can get more wood, stone and fibre and berries, etc. from harvesting. Mobile stockpile, so we reduce the weight of things that we're carrying. Moving down, we'll get the lone wolf, because we are a wanderer and we're on our own, so we'll get a 10% extra XP. And then pack horse, commonly known as Jimbo, my fellow gamer, Salty Spartan, who also has a YouTube channel. If I'm clever enough, I'll try and leave a link in the description if you want to jump over and see his playthrough of Icarus. But he's usually our pack mule who carries everything, so 25% weight capacity is a good boost to be named after him. Basic move, I'm not sure how beneficial this one will be for us. All buildables weigh less in your inventory, which could be okay, but if you're moving your base about, we'll see as the game proceeds, you only get a limited amount of talent points, so I don't want to waste them and then lack elsewhere, which will become more apparent when I move on to the other trees. We have Savage Hunting, which you get more stuff from creatures, such as meat and bones, and then leather and fur. These will be extremely important as we drop down to do other missions, because we could get that fur a lot quicker. It means day one will go a lot smoother. We've also got blueprint boost for 3 and 3, so a total of 6 extra blueprints, which helps in the start, but once you hit level 40, you stop getting talent points, but you still get tech tree points or blueprint points, which is 3 per level. So eventually you could probably unlock the majority of things. So back into tier 1, we'll get the... I'm not intending to set my house on fire, so we'll leave the fire whacker at the moment. However, I am prone to setting things on fire, and lightning storms do tend to destroy trees, set them on fire, which then creates a forest fire, which will then dramatically cut your wood supply down and potentially burn down your house. So we'll get a wood rag torch and the cloth armour, as we said earlier. So whilst I was going through that, talent points or buffs, what sort of slightly going down. Our berries are on the low. We've got the well rested bonus though, which gives us more health, health regen, a wee bit more more stamina regen. We need to need food and water at a lot lesser rate. We'll put our oxygen into our oxygen square. Make sure our tools are repaired. It does cost stamina to repair the tools, so just be mindful of that if you do start repairing them on the slide, and you end up getting attacked by a wolf and you've got no stamina. You won't be able to swing your knife to save yourself. We'll get a wee bit more stone. I need arms and feet, so we can craft them now. Well, we could craft at least one of them, and then we need a small amount of fibre to make the last piece, and then we'll be able to get the 5% movement speed bonus, which will allow us to outrun the wolves if we have to, or at least get to a safer bit of distance to fire off that deadly shot between the eyes to take it out of the game before it takes us out of the game. Okay, so we've got the boots now, so we have the full set of cloth armour, getting the full resistances on each part. It's not a lot, but it is only fibre armour, but that main thing is that 5% move speed. So we can't cook the watermelon, but it does give us food and water and maximum stamina when we have it. So I'll eat a watermelon, I get that buff, got some water, I've got 270 stamina now. I'll eat some cooked meat to get that buff, which is more health and more health regen. Go back into my little cave, get my fish, which gives us more health and more stamina regen. Now we don't have our carrots yet. It gives us 10 health, 10% max health when you eat it raw, but when you eat it cooked, it gives us a small increase in projectile damage. However, we do have 3 food buffs, so we wouldn't benefit from that if we eat the carrots. We can pick up some pumpkins, and let's see if we could find get some more oxide, because we don't want to be far away from our campsite and then end up having no oxygen, getting dizzy and dying. Now I'll try, but I may not be able, may not remember, but I'll try to constantly keep an eye on the food buffs down the bottom left hand side to keep on top of them. So long as we don't overindulge on the watermelons, we should be okay. They should keep our water topped up a wee bit. I can take some berries to get some more water as well. Just I won't get the benefit of the consumption of them. So these plants that I'm walking past, like so the cocoa, the gorse bushes, which is the yellow ones, the soybeans, the wheat, I would normally, you can pick them up, but at this stage I have nowhere to store them. They're not really beneficial for the mission unless you have a cooking bench for the soy, or a thermos for the tea and cocoa, coffee and gorse tea, which is beneficial when you go into the snow to heat you up. So there's no point wasting spaces storing it when we're not able to use it at this moment in time. However, we will be able to use carrots, and we may need them going forward, along with pumpkins. Right, we were getting a storm, but it's just a shower. It'd be interesting because I've not checked. The shower doesn't fill up a water skin, but it might just fill up our sponge. Now there's a small trick to getting XP here. Now, I don't know where that goat landed. May have taken it out, but I don't know where it landed, so that's no good to us. But here's their buddy wolves coming in. Two wolves down, just shy of 2,000 experience per wolf. Now what I was going to say is that we could kill something like a goat or a rabbit and leave it lying, and it'll attract the predators, and then we could use that to get more experience from the wolves. Alternatively, we can also leave a carcass instead of harvesting the bone. Or we could also have a rabbit or a baby deer attached to our belt, and that may also attract wolves. But what we don't want to do is attract the wrong creature, which is a bear. Okay, we're sort of running out of water here. It doesn't fill up the sponge. But what we can do, now do we have the buffs? We do. I'll consume a stack. We'll get full water, and we didn't get the overconsumption buff. So there's another wolf. We're getting lucky now. Because we've got the stealth bonus, I'm able to get the headshots off, which is taking them down. We're almost level 5. And there's the stone knife broken. Now I could get rid of the fur because we don't really need it, but instead, just to err on the side of caution, I will keep it. But what I will do is go back to that cave, which is just along here, to get out this storm, because if we stay in the storm too long, we could start getting too much exposure, and too much exposure will start taking our health down. And I'm going the wrong way as usual. Unlike most other games, when you press your map, you can't keep moving. So it's something to be mindful of. And you could also, when you're in the menus, be attacked by wolves and the like. Poor innocent rabbit bites the dust. Okay, found the cave. Nip into here, see what we've got left. We've got barbecued carrots, which gives us more stamina, more projectile damage, and some food, which will go nicely with our cooked fish and our cooked meat. Okay, storm's starting to break now. We're not cooking anything. Just leave this food there now. We've got plenty bone. We've got some carrots, which actually will cook off. So because we're cooking the carrots, we'll be as well cooking the meat. Top this back up. We get 20 stack of everything. We'll eventually run out of fish because I've not went and got more. But we could also get corn, which will reduce our stamina usage, give us more stamina as well. If we find some squash, we could roast that up for some stamina and melee damage. Not that we're using much melee, but if the wolves get too close, it will help with our knife damage. Carrots, like we discussed. Mushrooms, not really seen any mushrooms on the map as yet, but I've not done quite as much exploring. These ones down here are for what was on about with the thermos and the hot drinks. We've got pumpkin, which reduces our exposure resistance, which is okay, but we're not going to tend to go out in the storms if we could help it. But it also gives us 75 stamina, so if in doubt, if we've got that, it's okay. We've also got flatbread, which is unlocked in the tech tree. It gives us a 5% experience gain. I don't tend to use it, but I might use it later on, or at least the other variant of it. Okay, so you can only get a 10 stack of carrots, and as I said earlier, if you stay in a cave too long, you get pneumonia, which reduces our experience gain, our stamina, and our health regen. So that's for 600 seconds, 10 minutes. So it's quite a penalty, especially 1 in the early game and 2 if you're solo playing. So don't want to stray too far. It's midday. Cut down a couple of... Oh! We can throw our knife. And it done a bit of damage. Now let's see if I get my knife back. Yeah, there it is. Now that wolf might have been attracted to the rabbit that we've got on our belt. And we'll show you the rabbit just dangling on our belt. Just on our hip. Flopping around as if it's a stuffed toy. We did level up to level 5, so we'll get that talent point. Now we could reduce our stamina intake, we could get our 3 blueprint points, health, movement speed. I'm going to go for the 3 blueprint points. And the 10% movement speed. So now that we've unlocked level 5, we've got 7 blueprint points because we got the 3 extra, plus we had 4 I think for getting to level 5. We could get the antibiotic paste, which would reduce the time of pneumonia by half, but I don't find these to be very worthwhile in the early game. You'd basically be better just riding it out if you get any negative effects until level 10, and you could craft the tonics, which remove the defect, the negative effect. So we have to get the wood beam, we'll get the wood floor, switch my camera because I'm quite rubbish at the other view. Now that's 2 wolf reasonably quick, and I do believe it's because we've got the rabbit on our belt, so I'm just going to drop that, skin it to save us continuing off getting negative effect. Just noticed that we're also running out of our food buff, so we've got our carrot one, and our meat. So that's another wolf, but we also broke our knife. Right, so beam, wood floor, wood wall. We'll also get a bone skinning knife, a bone arrow. We've got 2 points left. So we'll get the wood door and the wood sickle. Unfortunately, doing it that way, you only get a standard box with the ceilings and the floor, but that will just have to do us at this stage. Now, that's a large deer there, and I missed. I hit it, but hit its foot. Right, so we unlocked some more crafting stuff. We'll get the sickle. That'll allow us to get fibre at a lot better rate. We'll also craft some bone arrows, 93, hence why I harvest all the bone that I could. But before that, we'll craft a bone knife, so we could get rid of that one. The bone knife will give us more stuff from animals. Put that carrot in there. Put that pumpkin in there. And we'll get our bone arrows. Now, if all my slots in my inventory were full, these arrows would fall on the floor. So, we need to make sure that there's always a free slot. Move my oxygen into here. We need some water. What we'll do to get the water is we will consume the fish first to get that buff, and then we'll consume the berries to bring our water up a bit. So we've got this, now we can see what we've got. Now I'm just going to go for a 2x2, so I need 4 wood floors, which also act as ceilings. I will need some wooden beams as well. Oh, we're getting our shower, but that's not too bad. Whilst we're waiting, we could go into the cave. We're moving a lot faster now, especially when we're sprinting. We've got more barbecued carrots. We've got some cooked meat. Just store the fur in there. Tidy up. Okay. So what we could do is we could just cook off the pumpkins as well. And what I will do is I'll come back down to the pond and see if I can get... Oh, what's this debuff I'm getting? Overheating. Am I on fire? No. I'm not sure why it gave me the overheating debuff. So I am moving quite fast. This is me not sprinting, and this is me sprinting. If I put my bow away, this is me walking and then sprinting. So it's not too bad, and it's in a storm as well, which you sometimes get reduced movement speed. We've got plenty of pumpkins, so we won't get them. We'll just pick up as much berries and watermelon as we can on the way past. Run down to the pond or the lake. Pick up berries. We've got plenty of carrots at the moment, but there's more there. And we'll drink. So we're lucky we never got dysentery, and we filled our sponge now. It doesn't really last that long, the sponge, it drains pretty quick. But whilst we're here, this box is the mission objective, or the start of the mission objective is the radar. Put it in the G slot, and it appears on our back. Now we cannot carry any animals. Let's see if we can get this deer. Doesn't look like it because I can't see it. You'll hear the character breathing heavily now. That's because the storm is starting to take a negative effect on the character. Medium exposure, less XP gain, and less movement speed. So if we get to the cave, that would be handy dandy. I think I've got enough bone now to craft another knife. Have 2 bone knives. If I only tend to carry 2 knives when I'm solo. If I'm playing it with my group, with the team, I just tend to carry 1. because we're a lot more efficient at getting things done as a group than having to do everything yourself. So we just get out of the storm for a bit. Pumpkin started to cook off. Get some meat on the go. See if we could craft another bedroll. Craft another bedroll just in case on our way, because what we'll do, so we picked up the box here. We have to go north for this one. Now this is bears. Up here in Oscar 10, or O10, Oscar for the phonetic alphabet, is wolves, and India 13 is jaguar. Now I can't remember if down this side there may be bear wandering about. There usually is on other maps, but I can't remember if it is on this map, because the difficulty is set to easy on this game, on this mission. But we'll soon see, and then we'll head back up. We'll go past the bears, all the way up to sort of November 10. There should be a water source around here. Into Oscar 10, set up camp. Probably a couple of times, and then do the radar, plant the radar in there, and then come back down. Hopefully we'll be level enough to take on the bears. Over here we'll set up a camp not too far away, so if we do die we could get back. I'll have an extra supply of some stuff in the camp possibly, so that if we die we could just grab some more gear and go. Now on this game, if you do die you get a deficit, and that deficit is the full level that you've started gaining in negative XP. So if I take that charcoal I'm okay. I'll leave it in there because it's a bit heavy. But I'll deactivate this. Leave the bedroll there. I won't go too far. I'll get more housing pieces than now, because it's 20 past 4 at night. 24-hour clock up the top right hand side in the forest. It's a lovely 20 degrees. That's for those that aren't too familiar with Scottish climate, that's taps off weather. I'm pretty sure if the character to tap off or top off, for those that don't understand the concept of tap, it's not necessarily what water comes out of into your sink. It is another word for your t-shirt or your top that you're wearing. Because we don't get very hot weather in Scotland, anything over about 14 degrees can be considered taps off. Move back before that tree hits me in the face. Taste, consume more carrots, some fish, and some normal meat. Now I'm consuming stack every time, just because it's easier. You can select them when it's in your hotbar and eat them individually, and then you can't have a weapon out at the same time. It depends on your preference. Right, we've got a fair amount of wood now. Let's see what we could craft. So we've got our 4 wood floors. We've got some pillars, but we'll get 8 walls. just get that water buff up. So we've got our 8 walls. We'll craft our door, and then we'll make the rest into pillars for stability. Okay, so we've got our house up. We've now got 45 minutes to go, so we'll now gather some oxide for the journey. Thought I had a wolf there. Okay, we have only 2 in. I'll just consume that before we lose it. We've got the cooling effect, which gives you heat resistance but also makes you more prone to getting cold. But it only lasts a small amount of time. We'll harvest down this oxide. It's almost time for bed. Wolves in the distance, hopefully they don't get attracted to me. Wouldn't mind XP, but it's going to be dark soon. Okay, get that full stack in there. I think we could harvest this one more node, take that with us. Just make sure that get the full stack in there. Just repair our tool. We'll craft a wee bit more. Nope, we don't have enough bone arrows. Bone to make bone arrows, but it's now 6 o'clock, so you could go to sleep to change it to the next day between 6, anytime after 6, and it gets you up at 7 o'clock. So start the fire. Sleep in the bed, and day 3 as I set fire to everything. Not good. I'm going to have to just risk it for a biscuit and rush into the cave. The cave worm will come out, but there's water in here. Deactivate that before I set everything on fire again. Thankfully it didn't burn my roll mat. Okay, crisis averted. So, plan now. Food buffs are up. Tools are repaired. Let's head down. It's the next day, day 2. Just plant a little marker down where we're going, so we'll just go to around here to keep me right. Change back to this view, pick up some watermelons, keep the water up. Because we don't have a non-leaky water carrier. Water vessel, we need to make sure we carry some form of source of water on the way down. I'll stick to the cliff side as I go down. And we'll get down roughly to my marker. We'll place down . 'Cause 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 hut, make a campfire, and that will be the end of episode 2. Progressing nicely, if I do say so myself. A small accident with the campfire, but thankfully we never died. So just to the right there is some corn. Across this river. The first time we complete this mission as a team, we're based up there. It's quite a flat area, not too bad. Just get a wee drink. Also fills up the sponge. Lilies. That's these flowers there, the pink flowers, or purple, depending on what you would class them as. They're used for health potions. Okay, just down here. Find a nice flat spot. Get some stone. I need at least 24 stones, so I'll get slightly more just in case our tools break. Oh. There we go. Okay. Where to base? Okay, so where are we going? Now this is a reasonably flat area, however it's covered in trees. And where trees are, storms follow, which can, if we get severe winds or strong winds, trees could fall on our house and destroy it. So here looks like a better zone, not far off where my marker was. I'll start placing these down. We might not need the pillars, but I thought best bring them just in case. So we have a small arrow pointing out the way that tells us what way the wall's facing. If you hold R, you could change the variant from windows, double doors, or singular door. We just want a normal door at the moment. This bit's a bit off the ground, so we need a pillar just to make sure it's not going to be unstable. Just put one on each corner. Okay. Now we have that. I messed up. I miscalculated. I needed 8 8 ceilings, not 4. So I need to go harvest some more wood. Usually when you chop the tree it falls away from you. Oh. It's okay, it showers, it won't knock our house down. Right. We have some fibre now, that's good. Get as much wood as we can. Can we now craft the 4 ceilings? We can craft 3. And there's the level. Right, we should be able to craft the fourth. And there we go. Come around here. Deploy the ceilings. Now this would class as a shelter in the tutorial. You don't need the door on for it to be classed as a shelter. We could put the roll mat down, make our spawn point down here, place our door, and then we've got our small house. Create a campfire, place it somewhere that I'm not going to stand on and burn my house down. Put a wee bit of wood in. I've got nothing to really cook at the moment, but if I had to change night into day, we have it ready to go. I'll just get the food buffs on the go. Consume stack of fish, stack of meat, and stack of carrots. Okay, doesn't seem to be wanting to. There we go. And just before we end the episode, we'll get our talent point. So we really want the perceived threat, so we could say sneaky, which will play a big part in taking down these bears. So we need to get some base health, which again will play a big part in taking out the bears. We can get the angled wall and roof ramp, which allows us to make slanted roofs, and a suture kit might come in handy, but we'll have another level before we get to the bears, which will cause problems. But what I'll get the fire whacker only because I've already set fire to myself. Okay, that's the end of this episode, episode 2. We're on day 3 in Icarus. Is it Livewire? Livewire mission. If you've enjoyed the content so far, please leave a like and subscribe. A wee comment. If you don't like the content so far or think I could do things better, please leave a comment that is constructive in the comments. Don't just say it's rubbish and leave, please. Leave it's rubbish and this is why I think it's rubbish, so therefore I can improve and bring better material to you in the future. But that's all for now. Catch you on the flip side.